Wonderful. I feel so honored to share this time and space with you, Dr. Basaria. Am I pronouncing that correct?
Basaria. Yeah.
Yes.
hmm
Wonderful. We have a topic that I think everyone will relate to today. But first, I want to introduce myself and I'll let you introduce yourself. I'm Catherine Hood. I call myself a happiness coach. I work with a lot of individuals and a few small groups on helping them define what happiness is. And I walk alongside them, supporting them in achieving whatever that happiness is. I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself and then we'll dive into our fun topic today.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. My name is Neelofer Basaria, and I am a national board certified health and wellness coach. And I primarily work with women to help them with their physical and stress weight. And we do that by going to the roots. So we work on gut health. So primarily working on foods, nutrition, and then hydration, sleep, and exercise. And then also mental emotional health, because the equation is not complete if you don't take care of your mental emotional health when you're taking care of your physical health. So as we do that, the holistic approach, people start reversing their chronic conditions, which is diabetes, cardiovascular conditions, even cancer, arthritis, hormonal conditions, such as, those that um, are related to thyroid hormones or PCOS, depression, anxiety, and they also reduce their medications. So that's the purpose, and the byproduct of that is a lot of weight loss, and you feel excellent in your body. And I'm also a mindfulness, meditation, and yoga teacher. So I use everything that I've learned in Eastern medicine, as well as my learning and experience in Western medicine, and then combine that together to help my clients achieve their health goals.
Yeah, I watch what you do and you are amazing and so gifted and so talented. And I love that you do have such a diverse background that you are able to bring in so much richness to your practice and helping people. Today, what kind of came up for both of us was stress. Stress has been really high with a lot of the individuals that we work with in small groups, and the correlation with stress, how those two, kind of go hand in hand in a sense. And I felt like that was something that would also pertain to both audiences that'll be watching and listening in on this. So where should we begin with food and stress, if you want to start there?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, stress is a big culprit for you to not eat well, even if you're aware of eating right, eating healthy. But when you are mentally and emotionally drained, that's when you make poor choices. So, I'm trained as a scientist, so I always go to research and see what's going on in human body. And there's so much research that's out there that talks about how our brain activity actually change when we are under stress. So this notion of, you need to have self-control and willpower, that goes out of the window when you're stressed. So let me give you an example of a study that was done in men, there are 51 men who were divided into these two groups. And one was given some stress by, inserting their hand in the ice water for 3 minutes. And then giving them some choices of food, such as, either broccoli or cookies and ice cream, things like that. So healthy and unhealthy choices. And while their hand was, they were under stress, they looked at their the brain activity through MRI. And what they saw was that the parts of brain that are more emotionally driven, your amygdala, and that starts the reward system and motivation and all of that, were showing more activity and the parts of brain that were more responsible for decision making, planning, there was less activity there, so they shrunk. All right, so you can see live what's happening in your brain, and definitely those who were stressed, that group made poor choices, like they went for cookies more.
Yeah.
The other group that was not stressed. So you can see that, you know, it's not about your willpower or your self-control. By nature, the way the physiology works, the brain functions, when we were evolving as cave people, if you are under stress right away, you want to go for that system. Your brain is evolved in a way that you are going to go for uh, instant gratitude. You're gonna, what can I do right now in the moment to secure myself, right? As opposed to thinking long term. So stress is real. Like it is not about, so if you are making poor choices when you're stressed, uh, do not put yourself down. That's how we are made, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I love the science that is available out there if you can access, the real raw data. I love science. The thing that I do when I work with clients is I really, take their real life experiences, how they define stress, and give me an example, a recent example of where you're under stress, and really be able to see in their own experience and their own life how, like you said, when you're tired, when your batteries run low, when think you've been pulled in 20 different directions all day long, when you just felt extremely drained, um, how those things that are most important, right? The hydration, healthy eating, frequent meals, rest and recovery, and somehow getting the cortisol out of your body by movement, all these things that we know logically help us mitigate stress and help us feel better afterwards. Those things are not the things that we reach for, kind of like what you said about, wanting that instant gratification. What can I have now? What can I have quick? What can give me, hit a dopamine or feel good instantly? So it's just interesting. And I love to be able to have clients really see it in their own life, and be able to parallel it to the scientific data. So that way, they can see in their own life how this is true, this is real, this is happening, and being able to offer them the guidance and the tools and know how that your brain is working really well, and prove to them that they're smart, they're capable, that their brain is doing exactly what it's meant and intended to do, and being able to give them the tools and knowledge of how to navigate those troubled waters when they occur, because they will occur, right? As much as we want, we, and can dream and wave a magical wand and get rid of stress completely. It's just really not possible. Though, really understanding how your brain and thought and consciousness works at an even deeper level, I noticed working with clients over a period of time that they're able to have less dips, if you will. So if you think of stress as a dip, they'll have less dips and they'll stay more, at least homeostasis or neutral, if you will. And then, little things that happen in life, they're not such a big deal. But you're right that food is so available. And, I was talking to a client the other day about how ads really are glorified to put a smile on your face, to make you happy, to feel good, to be about socialization and sharing and laughing and all the things, and I haven't had a TV in over 6 years, and I still know that ads do that, bulletin boards and different things. So I think that we're also programmed and conditioned to believe that food is our drug of choice. It's easy to access and get in those times where we are stressed, when we don't have a lot of energy and don't have the pre-planning and forethought to make or have a meal or something ready that's maybe a little bit healthier of a choice.
Yeah, I love that about you, Catherine. That, and I've heard some of your Coach Diary recordings, and I see how intuitive you are when, your clients come to you and they ask a question and you actually tap into their feeling and what's going on, like, something that you were alluding to before, when your clients come and they talk about some of those things, because that is where the nugget is. Like, if a coach can tap into where their client is in the moment
Mhm.
and pick them from there, like be there with them and connect and understand, and then give them some lifting, some food for thought, where they, because everybody has their insight within, but you just have to tap into that, like, understand. And I've seen that in you, the way you work with your clients, and that's why they get results that they get.
Mhm.
So super important. And you're so right about, this conditioning, through ads or through media or through what we, like, all through the time, through the time from childhood to up till now, how we were raised and what was the environment and how we saw things and formed our beliefs. All of that has so much to do with, then the choices that we make or things that we go for. So on one hand, it is not your fault, or it's like, that's the way the physiology works.
Yeah.
You are conditioned, but there is so much that is in our hands too, that we can do to change the equation, now to change the present that we are in. So, of course, when we feel bored, we want to go for something exciting, and food brings a lot of excitement. So we go for that. Or when we are lonely, or we are sad, or when we are grieving, we want to bring, something to connect to bring happiness in our lives. And food fits that bill really, really easy and fast, right? Like, have something um, that is tasty and that I love, and that um, as I was growing up, that gave me happiness, and you go for that. Or when you are tired, you want something which gives you instant rush of that energy, and hence you go for sugar-loaded food, which then starts another cycle of lethargy and laziness, and then you feel bad and guilty, and then you go in that cycle. So basically, what is in our hand is replacing or changing that programming a little bit, right?
Mhm.
So I think the first step is awareness. So instead of saying that, hey, tomorrow I'm going to be super, like, I'm not going to eat this, I'm not going to do that, I am going to be in control. And again, relying on your willpower, as opposed to that, if we just recognize that things happen, and what I'm going to do tomorrow is just notice my feelings,
Mhm.
just notice how I feel. Just like, when we have fever, we check our temperature, we use thermometer, right? Or when we have high blood pressure and we are watching, so we use the blood pressure machine, or, blood sugar machine, to see what is going on inside. Similarly, for mental emotional health, for stress, this is so important that, just have regular checks during the day. What am I feeling? What am I thinking? What are my thoughts right now? Just take a break and just breathe a little and just check in with yourself. If we do that, I think if we do that and have that habit, then we will catch ourselves when we are going for bad foods. We will catch ourselves as, oh, I'm eating this. Let me see what's going on in my head. What am I thinking? And thereby, what am I feeling? And so this is an excellent for those of you who are struggling with emotional eating, just bringing the awareness as of how my day is going, what am I feeling, what are my thoughts, and have that awareness, and then creating the pause. So pause is, I think, golden for when I work with my clients, and especially when it comes to cravings and emotional eating. I ask them to learn to create a pause. And that happens when you start, noticing things. When the awareness comes, then you will create a pause. And so another tip that I give to my clients is like those 5 fingers, the thumb is for worry, and then this is for fast. So fear, angry, sad, or T is for my to-do list or things that I have to put effort in. All right. So so just have these 5 fingers and say if you're feeling afraid or you're sad, just hold on to that finger and just name the feeling. So first tapping into what am I feeling, right? I'm worried. I'm worried about this. So you're creating a pause, you're going to the feeling, and then thinking about, okay, so, or seeing in your body, where am I holding that feeling? So some people they hold a lot of stress on their shoulders, some, tummy, um, some people, lower part of their body, back. So just focusing there and breathing into that part and then breathing out from there. So this is the process of creating pause. So you have created a pause. So you're recognizing the feeling and then you are breathing. Breathing is such an excellent pause. It just changes your physiology. So everything that I was telling you that was going on because you had started the sympathetic nervous system with stress, now with breathing, you're eliciting parasympathetic nervous system. So all that cortisol or all those hormones that are just, fight and flight or chemicals will slow down. And at any given moment in your body, either stress response can exist or relaxation response can exist. Both cannot exist at the same time. So instantly so this is in our control,
Yeah.
right? There are things that are not in our control, but there are things in our control. So just creating that pause, breathing, naming the feeling, breathing into that body part and exhaling that energy out. This will give you a lot of room to then do some intervention. And the intervention usually is let go and replace. So let go of that feeling, of that stress, and replace or build new. Okay, so replace with what you can build new. So say if we talked about, okay, if you are bored, instead of going to that food, how can I replace it? How can I bring excitement to my life? I know I'm bored from 7 to 9 every evening. Can I get myself engaged in a volunteer activity or service project? Or can I pick up on a book? Because I know that during boredom or 9 to 11 at night, I just go for bad foods, late night eating, right? So then replacing your boredom with something that's productive and helping you. But checking in with yourself, creating that pause, bringing that awareness, eliciting your parasympathetic nervous system is the instant thing that you can do. And then go for more permanent long-term activities where you're replacing this conditioning, this boredom, which was taking you towards food, to then, something productive. Or if you're sad, working on your purpose and meaning and, purposeful life, going toward that is more important than just going to food. Because what that food will do, it won't take care of the problem, right?
Right.
So I think, using some of these tools will help you with emotional eating and with stress. Want to know your thoughts, Catherine?
Oh, I love the use of the hands because what it really brought forward for me and kind of some of the stuff that I work with my clients is really kind of detaching from the feeling. Again, the awareness is huge and important, but having your hand and utilizing your hand and the fingers is really kind of seeing it, kind of creating a visual and also getting it outside of your body in a sense. And then, kind of what you alluded to and said in a different way is food is a sensory regulation, right? It regulates it activates all of our senses. So some of the exercises that you talk about, especially breathing, all of these are sensory regulating type things. And so when I work with clients that have these similar issues with stress, and then, and associate food with the solution, is really having a menu, creating a menu. They create their own menu of different things to do between that 7 and 9, right? A lot of people have that in common, like after dinner or in the evening time when things slow down, that's when that it upticks of the chances of the odds of eating a majority of the calories at night. And so what we do is we usually work out a menu. We create a menu. They do it, and it's usually not in session totally, completely. We might start with working on one, but it's really about creating a menu of things to do during that 7 and 9 period that allows them to have it written down or on their phone and reach for it. Because like you mentioned, some great ideas with the understanding of what senses is this bringing forward, right? So sight, smell, taste, touch, feel, all the senses, hearing, which ones are we using on these menu items? Because the more senses that we engage, the greater you kind of, I always call it, it's kind of like losing track of time. And it's not everyone, but the majority of people that I speak to and work with on a regular basis love nature. Now, 7 to 9, depending on the time of year, it might not be safe to go outside and be in nature. But we do have that on the menu, some fashion or form of maybe sitting outside with a cup of decaf tea and, and just listening to the crickets or looking at the moon or the stars or whatever. So it's just really about creating a menu that works for them, that is catered and created by them, that activates the 1 or 5 of their senses. I think that's a beautiful thing, because again, the food, it just hits all of them. So it's one of those things that's why it is so soothing and so regulating. But you're right, if you have the awareness and you can replace it with something else that's healthy and maybe more in alignment with what you're wanting to learn more, wanting to grow more, wanting to read, wanting to whatever that is, and just having a menu, because not every night you're going to want to do the same thing, or at least me with my desire to do different things all the time. But it's just nice to have a menu and be able to have that available and reach for it. But I love these techniques. I love these ideas and how you work so closely with those that work with you, and continue to evolve and grow and offer new tools and new suggestions that have science to back it up, that are proven and work really well to overcome something that a lot of people are challenged with, and a lot of people are not open about it or talk about it. So that's the other thing that I really appreciate about you and your work, is you advocate so much for those people that are quiet and dealing with this alone. You're not alone. I would say I deal with it from time to time too, and it is a challenge. And doing it alone is not, you don't need to be alone, I guess, is what I'm pointing to. That we are coaches that work with individuals for this very thing, so you don't feel alone, so you do understand that this is so super super common. And quite honestly, there's really easy ways to overcome it. And I say that tongue in cheek. It sounds easy. It does take persistence and consistency, which means something that you do. It's like building a muscle. You have to work on it on a daily basis, or it atrophies. We humans love, our brain loves repetition. Our brain loves to find patterns and habits. And if we don't get that habit really ingrained, what ends up happening is we end up sliding back to old ways and old habits and the easy way out and so forth. So it's just really nice to have someone like you or me that are cheerleading, and they're readily available and accessible to help you get over the hurdle and get through the gatepost of creating that new habit, that muscle, and creating that menu or whatever it is that can help you serve you in a way that helps you understand one, what stress is. I think that's a big thing that a lot of people, when they first come to me, they think that, oh, it's my boss, it's my job, it's my house, my wife, my kids, my husband, my whatever, and it's about pointing to everything externally that's creating that. But what I have found is so funny is working with so many people for over the years that I've had clients come to me and go, you know, I've been married and divorced 4 times, and they all have told me the same thing. So I am the common denominator. So I think it's me. And I'm like, yeah, I don't say that, yeah, but but I'm like, great awareness. And then I'll have clients come to me too. They're like, I've had 4 jobs, went to 4 different jobs, and I left for the exact same reason. And the common denominator is me. Well, there's your sign, right? So it really is important to understand what stress is. And I'm in the same camp as you with motivation and discipline. You can't white knuckle through this stuff. That's not how the brain will actually double down and create more eating and food, poor relationship ways of looking at things. So that is not the route to go, or these diets. It truly does amplify that poor relationship with food. So it really is important to find somebody that can help you navigate this in a way that's healthy and sustainable, and you're not using grit and you're not using guilt and shame and going through that cycle. So, but yeah, I feel like we've covered a lot today, and I again want to appreciate you for the time that you've shared with me and our little technology fun at the beginning. But in closing, I'll just say something really quick and allow you to say any final thoughts, and then we'll close out. But this, really was, I learned from you. I love, again, follow you, admire you. You have such great content, and keep advocating, keep screaming from the rooftops, because it is what you offer is so easy to understand. It does take someone that is ready and and wants to have somebody to come alongside them and help them and support them like you do. That's really incredible. So keep doing what you're doing. You're doing amazing, and I'm here cheering you on.
Thank you, Catherine. I agree with so many things that you said earlier, and you know, like not feeling alone. Just that is so big. Not feeling that you have to go through this by yourself. Um, Building community, and these coaches that are out there, they already have clients and they have community, and like you said, you do some group sessions. I work in group settings, and I am a big believer in community support. So seeking community support, like on your own, if you can start the practice of mindfulness, journaling, those are the things that are going to help you. But then also finding a community where you can share, where people are in the same boat. And emotional problems and stress is not a one-step process. And by applying one habit or two, it's not going to solve the entire problem, like the conditioning. That's why it's so important to go deeper and to work with the coach, so that you can heal your inner child from within. You can overcome your limiting beliefs that are there for years and years and years, maybe 30, 40, 50 years,
Yeah.
and change them with empowering beliefs. And that is some deep level work that you can do with a coach. And so whoever you find in your community, whoever you connect with, reach out, seek help. You don't have to do this alone. And there's just so much help that is available. So, it's just a matter of, that's how God has made us, like in communities, and we are here to help each other out. So there are things that you can help somebody with, and there are things that you can get help for from somebody. And so that's how we all grow and we all evolve. And I think that's the purpose of life for us to all evolve ourselves to the next level and the next level. And in the process is the happiness. In the process is the growth. It's not that I have to reach here, it's the process. And as we help each other and as we evolve and as we grow as communities, we find that happiness and, we evolve. So thank you, Catherine, for the wonderful work, wonderful, wonderful work. I follow you, the work that you do with your clients in your community. You are such a gem. So many people are so lucky to have you. So continue to do what you are doing, and we all will grow together. So
Yes.
lovely. Thank you for this opportunity to talk to you about this topic, and maybe we can do some more in the future.
Yes. Sounds great. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.